The most exciting thing that can happen to a tax collector is to meet a taxpayer who voluntarily comes up to offset his tax liability. Such a salutary step has lots of implications to the tax-business relationship of the tax administrator and taxpayer. Welcome to Pay Your Tax, a tax enlightenment program on the bill of Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS. Our talking point today is voluntary entry into the tax nets, a patriotic act for taxable adults. My name is Taylulu Oladusi. You will meet my guest in a moment. Please stay with us.
My name is Tolu Adegbe, Executive Chairman, Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. I want to thank the good people of Ondo State for paying your tax, and I want to encourage those who are not paying to pay their taxes. Schools are being renovated, new ones are being built, we have new hospitals being built, we have plans to do even more infrastructure, we have industries coming into the states, and then of course we have the roads that we can all see. These taxes are being used for things that will benefit the people of Ondo State. I want to thank you all, and I can assure you that in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, we continue to make the tax payment process very easy, very convenient, and very smooth for everyone. Thank you for paying your tax. God bless us all.
My guest today on Pay Your Tax is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN. He is the Director of Personal Income Tax in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Olusegun Enikuomehin. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us.
Taylulu. Viewers at home, I greet you all.
We said in our intro that an action that excites a tax administrator the most is the coming up of a taxpayer to pay his tax. Are we correct?
You are absolutely correct. In fact, I will liken it to a passage in the Bible that the heaven rejoices when a sinner comes to repentance. Same way, though it is statutory for every adult or every income earner to pay his or her tax, but because of what is happening, especially in this part of the world, people shy away from their responsibility. But when an individual sees it as a duty and comes up that, oh, tax authority, I want to pay my tax, we are always excited and we are very, very happy about that. So we advise, we welcome people coming to tax authority to pay their tax without necessarily running after them before they do that.
May we know some of the motivating factors that usually encourage a tax payer to voluntarily come up to pay his tax?
Well, top on the list, like taxpayers, we always say, they want to see the judicious usage of these tax monies that are paid.
Where their money is being paid.
Where their money is going to.
Okay.
That is number one. Number two, we want to see an ease of tax payment. What do I mean by ease of tax payment? You want to see how this, the process by which you pay your tax. You want to see how closer the office of the tax administrator is to the taxpayer. They want to see the easiness in paying your tax. They want to see their receipts being issued at appropriate time to taxpayers. And they want an environment that is conducive when they are coming up to pay their tax. And technology is another key issue here.
How?
At the comfort of your room, at the comfort of your office, if a taxpayer can easily pay his or her tax, it's a plus to the tax authority. That is, they don't necessarily need to go to tax office before they make their payment.
Thank you, Mr. Enikuomehin. Can you try and put ODIRS tax collection processes side by side? Those factors that incentivize tax payments.
Thank you. In Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, we have the processes by which tax is being paid.
Okay.
We first of all carry out the enumeration. We get all this data into our database, and we issue assessment, and we do the collection. And when you are paying, you pay directly to the bank.
Okay.
There is no physical collection of cash. No, you don't do that. You pay directly to the bank. Then, once you do that, once you made your payment, receipts are generated. If you need a tax license certificate, we issue a tax license certificate when you apply. And when we do all this, people are happy. And even when you come to the tax office and you see the environment where you are making this payment, you'll be marveled. So we are doing all this in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, and this had assisted the taxpayer, the tax authority, and the government. Then, like I mentioned earlier, there is this judicious application of tax payment.
Judicious application.
Judicious application
Okay.
of tax money. What you paid, how is it utilized by government? What are you seeing as a feedback? Because you are expecting something from government, you want government to build roads, you want government to build do health care, you want government to build good schools, you want a good environment, you want electricity, you want good roads. Because you want all this, government needs something by which all this can come to fruition. And that is money. Everybody pay his or her own tax, that government have enough money, enough fund to carry out all these dividends of good governance.
And to us, voluntary entry into the tax net is synonymous with acts of patriotism. What is your take on this?
You're absolutely right. It is statutory for every adult, for every income earner to pay his or her tax. So, when you are doing this, you are only performing your statutory duties. Right. And when you perform your statutory duties, you are expecting something from government, which government will do in returns. So when you pay your tax, you are telling government that, look, I've done my own part of this bargain. Government, please do your own part of the bargain.
Mr. Olusegun Enikuomehin, the Director of Personal Income Tax in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, is doing some justice to some questions right now, and we'd like to go on a short break, and when we return, we continue with the program. Do stay with us.
My name is Honorable Lucky Orimisun, the Deputy Governor of Ondo State. I want to let you know that I have paid my own property tax, as it were, land use charge. And I encourage or employ every one of us to do same, so that the government will be able to have enough to do more for us in terms of infrastructural development. So, pay your tax.
Voluntary entry into the tax net, a patriotic act for taxable adult, is our topic on today's edition of Pay Your Tax, and our guest is Mr. Olusegun Enikuomehin, the Director of Personal Income Tax in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. How do you, in ODIRS, sir, expand the tax net, which connote taxpayers' data bank as against tax trap?
Thank you. Here I know Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, we do the needfuls. Because in this part of the world, not only this part, but even in the whole world, people find it difficult to pay their taxes. they are reluctant to pay their taxes. But what we do is that we try as much as possible to carry out those things that will encourage our taxpayers to willingly come to tax offices to pay their taxes. We carry out enumeration, like I said earlier, and we store all this into our database. Aside of this, we do what we called ease of payment, like I mentioned earlier. We engage technology in all our aspects of tax collection. Going at those days that people will be running after taxpayers, or taxpayers will be finding it difficult to come and pay their taxes, we give them conducive environment. When you are paying your tax, before you do that, the first week of every year, we serve assessment. We publish in the newspapers and all the media, so that people will know, we remind them of their responsibility for the current year. We tell them the implication of not paying your taxes as and when due. So when we do all this, it's a sort of reminder to our potential taxpayers. And when they read this in newspaper, in television, in radio, or even in our billboards, it gives them a reminder. It becomes a reminder to them, and they quickly come up to come and pay their taxes. Like I said earlier, we don't need to come to our office before you pay your tax. Apart from the fact that we have 24 tax stations apart from the headquarters in the whole state, we also have a payment center.
Aside from
that
the 24
apart from the
tax
24 tax stations in Odo State, we have a liaison office in Abuja. You know, most of the headquarters of banks, all these big organizations, is either they are in either Lagos or Abuja. So we have a liaison office in Abuja, we have a liaison office in Lagos, so that we can be closer to our taxpayers, whether they are in Ondo State or not. And when we do this, more people are coming in. Okay, I want to pay my tax. Even some organizations that are springing up in the state, they on their own voluntarily come to us, write to us, oh, I want to pay my tax, I want to do this, I want to do that. Then apart from this, we also have the contact center that will have our various telephone numbers, of which you can contact, you can call, and we have competent staff manning all these contact centers, and they will attend to you from 7 o'clock in the morning to about 6 o'clock in the evening. They attend to you, they answer your questions, whatever you want to know about tax, they will let you know, and you can now take it further from there. So we are doing all this so that our taxpayers, we have them coming to TaxNet voluntarily. Yes.
So can we say that in Ondo State, more citizens are now in the TaxNet, resulting into more tax revenues for the state?
Of course, yes. Yes. And I must commend the people of Ondo State. The residents of Ondo State, they are doing very, very well. If you look at our records, we started in 2018, this new administration, and we moved from an average of 9 to 10 billion naira annually to over 30 billion naira in 2021. That is a huge amount, a very huge amount, over 300%. This is to show you that people are coming up, people are willing to pay their taxes, and apart from this, the government itself, led by Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, he has been doing everything humanly possible to provide infrastructure to the people, to the citizens of Ondo State. And when people see this, when they see what they are using their tax to do, it encourages them to pay their tax. So because of this, more people are coming to the tax net. We are getting more money, but it's a work in progress. We'll continue to do it. That is not where we are going. We are still moving further. Yes, and I'm seizing this opportunity to encourage our potential taxpayers to plead with them that they should please come to the tax offices and make their payment for their statutory tax payments.
Okay, let us have you speak on tax collection processes, tax revenue management and development in Ondo State.
Yes, thank you. Like I said earlier, the two go pari passu.
Okay.
Yes.
They go in tandem.
Yes, when you pay your tax, more money will be available to government, and more dividends of good governance will be experienced. So, government uses this money that you pay in tax to develop the state, to develop the community, to develop the local governments, and to provide infrastructure to the citizenry. The money that we are getting from federal allocation has been dwindling for some time now, and each state has to look inward, and that's exactly what we are doing in Ondo State. And kudos to our #1 tax officer, Mr. Governor, who has been supporting us, who has been giving us the political will to do what we know best doing. That is collection of taxes. And because he has been supporting us, even the staff of Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, they are contented with what they have. We are happy to do our job. And this idea of, you want to prefer government money, or you want to do direct pocket lodgement, that we, as we used to say those days, is no more happening in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service.
Enforcement is an instrument of tax compliance when taxable adults are not when they are not ready to discharge their civic responsibilities. Can you speak about this?
Yes, thank you. Like I said earlier, majority of people have been coming up to pay their taxes, but you will still find one or two, some few ones, that they need to be pushed before they move. And for this, we are pleading with them, because the time is ripe now to pay. This is a period of enforcement. The year is running to an end. I don't think that this one I will not pay this year. After all, they've not done anything to me. Even if you are not paying this year, by next year we will come after you.
Does that mean
you will pay for the liability? Of course, even if the law allows for 6 years, if you are not paid for 6 years, we assess you for 6 years. And if we find out that it's even beyond that, for example, organization, that's what we call tax investigation, that we can even go up to 10 years, 20 years, of course, yes. So don't think that, because you've not paid this year, or you've not paid last year, that one is gone. No, it's not gone. No. We will collect our money. So for those that have not been paying, for those that have not been performing their statutory responsibility or statutory duties, the onus lies on us to carry out enforcement. And how do we carry out enforcement? We don't need to come and lock your shop without going to court, or come and pick your goods. Gone are those days. Taxation is law. We follow what the law say. And in Personal Income Tax Act 2011, as amended, it has given us the power for us to take taxpayers to court. So if you don't pay your tax, we give you an assessment. You don't pay, we remind you. You don't pay, we add interest and penalty. You don't pay, because it's like you are trading with government money. So if you are supposed to pay about maybe ₦1 million before, and you are not paying, we are going to add 10% penalty of that. We are going to add the current CBN rate as interest. So that's a lot. So about 30 to 31% you are going to pay over that amount. So why don't you just pay your tax and just leave that interest and penalty? But if you are not paying, it means that you are going to pay the principal, you pay the interest, you pay the penalty. So it is better for you to pay your tax as and when due.
Voluntary entry into the tax net, a patriotic act for taxable adults, is still the topic of Pay Your Tax today. Let's go on another break, and when we return, we continue with the program. Kindly stay with us.
Finally, a big relief is here for taxpayers in Ondo State. Without an express payment of all taxes, charges, fees, and fines are now made easier through the banks approved by the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. Access Bank, First Bank, Polaris Bank, Union Bank, UBA, Wema Bank, Unity Bank, and Zenith Bank. Others are Stanbic IBTC, Kickstone, Guaranteed Trust Bank, Fidelity Bank, FCMB, EcoBank, and Sterling Bank. Pay to the banks directly. Don't give your cash to anyone. For further inquiries, call the following number: 0188397000 or 09284770004, or send WhatsApp messages to this number: 08104864804. Contact us at ODIRS.ng or info@odirs.ng. Also, chairman at ODIRS.ng. Our website is www.odirs.ng. Pay your tax, as tax brings development. Ondo State Internal Revenue Service announcer.
Glad to have you back from that short break, and my guest today is Mr. Olusegun Enikuomehin, the Director of Personal Income Tax in Ondo State Internal Revenue Service. Glad to have you back, sir.
Thank you.
We stated at the beginning of this edition of Pay Your Tax that there are implications of voluntary entry into the tax net. In the light of those positive implications, can you advise the tax-paying public?
Thank you. We have a positive implication and we have negative implications.
Okay.
If you voluntarily come to tax net, it's a positive implication. But if you are shying away from entering into this tax net, the tax authority will force you into the tax net and you will do the needful. How do I mean? Yes, like I said earlier, it is statutory for all adults or income earners to pay their taxes as and when due. It's also statutory that at the beginning of every year, you file your returns and file it correctly. In fact, it is the ability to file your returns correctly to tell us all your sources of income. All emphasized, all sources of your income. Even if you are a civil servant and you have a small farm somewhere and you are generating some income there, you add it. If you have a small shop somewhere outside that civil service job, you will add it. If you have a building and you are generating some income there, which we call rental income, you will add this. So everything, your global revenue, your global income, you have to file it. And it is on this that we applied our tax tools. And we have various taxes anyway. You have the pay as you earn, you have the direct assessment, you have the consumption tax, you have a development levy, you have all rates and levies across all the ministry, department, and agencies of government.